Hi there, I'm Vicki Parfano from Aussie Stampers. Welcome back to my channel, and if you're a newbie, then welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a project using the Stampin' Up markers. These are watercolour dual tip brush markers, brush tip on one end and fine tip on the other. And you can create amazing things with your markers other than just using them to colour stamps. And this is one of the projects that I did with markers, and I want to show you how easy this is. It's basically doodling and then colouring in with the markers and pulling the colour out with an aqua brush. Now the Stampin' Up aqua brushes come in two sizes. They come in a large and a medium, and I also have another aqua brush which I use for my fine work as a watercolour artist, which has a very fine tip like that, but you're not going to need that sort of tip today. This is really doodling large shapes, so these are going to be perfect, the large and the medium tip aqua brush. They're already filled with water. If you haven't seen an aqua brush before, how they work, the top screws off like this. You fill this little tank with water, pop the top back on, and you're ready to go blending. Now what you will need as you are doing your blending, I like to have some folded paper towel at the ready so that I can brush off and clean off the colour that I've used before I go on to a new colour. This is a really simple technique. It's neat and tidy, and I'm going to show you how to do it right now. So I'm working in my art journal, which is a watercolour art journal. You would have seen this before, I imagine, if you've been following me. This is the Express Mixed Media Journal 300 GSM watercolour paper. Now it's rough textured, and I like working on rough textured paper, and it really suits this technique because it just seems to work well when the ink's activated. So let's see. Now before we go, this is my writing that I've been working on. I'm only a beginner with this type of writing, and I'm just putting it in here so you can see that I have been practicing, and I am working on getting my handwriting looking a whole lot better so that I can do some messages in the art journaling pages rather than always using stamps. So this is my practice page that I did today. It's still really not great, but it's better than it was when I started. So the main thing is you don't need perfection. You just need to enjoy what you're doing. I'm going to move this out of the way now and get this little art journal front and center. And you could do this, I think we'll do landscape. I know I'll be reading the art journal looking through this way, flipping through this way, but I would like to do a landscape piece because most of my others are double page spreads or portrait. So let's make this landscape and let's see how to achieve this look. So the first thing I'm going to do is to draw this really rough frame all around the outside so that I have a guideline for where my work starts and where it ends. And for this I'm going to use my Copic Sketch 100, but if you don't have Copic markers, what will work just as well is a black Sharpie. I'm going to start with the four corners because I want them to look like corners, and then I'm going to work back from that. And this corner down here is a little bit of a wobbly one, and this one might have a wobble on this side just to make it a little bit different. Then I'm going to draw in things like a little heart up here, which is what I have on this one. I might draw 3 hearts. I like working in groups of 3. So let's get a bigger heart down here and a skinnier heart. I mean, it's really up to you how you want to do this down there. And I'm going to put some, they almost look like the beeps on a heart monitor. I don't know how else to describe these little jaggedy pieces, but we'll put some, yeah, heart monitor beeps in there. Does that make any sense to you? I don't know. So, and I'll put some more in the side too. And you can see you don't need any artistic skill at all to do this. It's just doodling, and it's going to loosen up your hand as an artist, and it's going to be fun if you treat it as just an exercise in doing something that you haven't done before. Move these guys over. And no hearts on this side. Yeah, I think I'll just take 3. I like using 3s, 5s or 7s. It's just more pleasing to the eye. It's probably some feng shui thing in that as well. So if you know what that is, let me know. Now, there's our border done. So you can see that's the heavy dark lines on the outside. So I can put this away. Don't need that for the moment. And I'm going to start with these little shapes in here. Now for this I'm going to use a pencil. Now my pencil is a Click 0.7 Pentel pencil. I can't remember where I got this. It could have been Costco. It might have been just somewhere like a newsagent's, but it's basically a mechanical pencil with a nice small rubber on the end of it. And it just means I don't have to sharpen my pencils all the time, and I have a nice sharp point to work with. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start with these big shapes in the middle. So we've got kind of like a snail going on here. We've got a star. We've got some flowers. We've got another couple of little hearts in there, but I'm not going to overdo the hearts because I think I want a nice balance of elements here. So we might kind of reference this a little bit as though we're doing this one again. So I'm going to do a long skinny heart again down the bottom here. And I'm going to do a bigger heart on the outside of it, and I might do a little snail guy down here, so a little spiral. You can just do it whatever shape you want. I'm going to do another heart up the top here and keep the hearts the same way as I had on this one because I really think this is a pleasing kind of composition. And a star. Well, I'm going to move the star over. I'm going to put him on the other side just because I can, and it's a real rough star. Look at that. It's just rough. And this is what makes it art, not a homework project. So let's go around here and do some more spiraling. And the flowers I might do a little bit differently this time. I might do like yay long petals and tiny little centers. So how does that look for a flower? So I've changed that one up. And it's only got a tiny center. I like that. I like that because we've got this big circular thing going with the snails. And another one of those guys. Just keep it loose when you're doing doodling. You don't need to work too slowly. Speed is of the essence with this type of work because it just keeps your line fluid and your line easy going. Remember, this is only pencil, so you can always rub it out if you want to. And in fact, I'm not even going to rub out these lines. I'm going to show you how you can take some of the steps that you would do if you were making a fine work of art and just cut them out completely when you're doing something easy like this. Okay, so maybe we need a bigger spiral. I haven't really left a room for much bigger, but we'll go this way. See what we can do with this guy. Maybe a few times round. There we go. And maybe this one I'm going to start really small and get him bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, really going round and round and round. Okay, that looks like it's probably got enough going on in it, and I really like it. Now what I want to do is draw some lines to join all this up because now that's just a solid picture. We want to get this linear fashion going where we can start putting everything in these little pockets of space, all our colors. So for the lines, really all I'm going to do is just draw some wavy lines right through the whole thing. So let's start off with some wavy lines going this way. I'm going to draw a wavy line up there. I'm going to draw a big line around here. Doesn't matter if you go through the things that you've already drawn, keep that wavy, keep it going. If anybody's done Zentangle, this is like drawing a string. So just wavy lines. And I think I need to partition off this little section here, so I might just draw a little line up and over. And if there's anywhere that it looks as though it still needs definition, in fact I might actually take that little line out because it's so tiny. There we go. We can stop that line there. I think that's enough. I think that's absolutely enough. So let's get cracking. I'm going to take the big aqua brush and just get it started on my paper towel. You can see the water coming out there. I'm just going to do a basic wash of the whole thing, just so that we're not working on naked paper. It has a little bit of cover, good old H2O. In fact, I'm going to get a bit more moving on than that. So we're not starting on a blank surface. We have our first layer, which is going to be water. Strangely enough, blot some of it just in case there's any pools of water sitting there that will catch me unawares. Just lightly tap it. It's still moist. I can feel that there's a lot of moisture in that page, but there's no little pools of water sitting there. And that will stop any kind of heartache later on where things start running off the page. Now the other thing I'm going to do before I start putting colour on this, and it may not be essential because we're not going all the way to the outside edges, but I'm just going to put a little bit of printer paper under there to protect the pages underneath it and to protect my work surface. So to get started, just choose colours that you like, and I'm going for bright colours, so I think I'll go for different colours but still bright colours. So we've got 5 colours. We've got red, yellow, blue, green, purple basically, and it's not really red, it's more an orange, but hey. So the colours I'm using on this are Eggplant, Pacific Point, Watermelon Wonder, Emerald Envy, I think this one is called, yep, and Crushed Curry. I use this guy a lot. He's one of my go-tos. But we've got, really, how's that for colours? Yeah, that makes me happy.
So I'm just going to start outlining the little snail, bringing in my aqua brush and blending it out. And the same with the star, I'll do him as well, just blending him out. And you can always blot onto your paper if you get a little bit of a smudge. You can clean it up straight away and it's really simple. So pull those colours towards the inside of each of those little shapes that you're making. Now I'm going to go into the corners and anywhere around the page where I think it could do with some blue basically. And just keeping in mind that the elements that I'm doing, the stars, the flowers, the spirals, I want them in all different colours. So, you know, I'll save some of those as well rather than doing all those in blue. They're going to be different colours. I'm just pulling out the colour each time. So this is the blue, which is called Pacific Point. Now the next one I'm bringing in is the purpley colour, which is called Elegant Eggplant, and this is actually quite dark. I might blot some of this out later on. It's kind of all gone into a solid colour, so I'll come back later and blot some more out. I'll just wait and see what it looks like when it's dry. And again, moving to some of those compartmentalised pieces we made by putting the string that I drew across there. So blend it and blot if necessary if it starts to bleed out, but I found that there was very little bleeding happened with this. It was really confined to the spaces because what I'm doing with that colour is I'm creating the frame for the colour to sit in and just pulling the water towards the inside, so it really minimises any bleeding of colour or any smudging. And if you do smudge it, which I think I did further along the track, I can give you a technique for fixing that. And yes, but first coffee. Okay, you can see I'm cleaning off the colour onto the paper towel between colours so that I'm not contaminating when I have the aqua brush coming in onto that yellow, which is Crushed Curry. Because I've cleaned off the brush, it won't contaminate, it's just coming in with fresh water. It's such a neat and tidy project. You don't need glasses of water, you don't need heaps of paintbrushes, you don't need to go change the water every 5 seconds because it's getting too dirty. It's a really lovely project. You could even do this, I think I took this down to the caravan and did some similar work down there at the van because it was just something I could take with me that didn't need a whole lot of materials, just my dual tip markers and my aqua brushes and some Sharpies and my journal. So I love this project. It really makes me happy. I love how this is coming along, and it trains your eye in how to get a pleasing composition of colour as well as shape. So you can see I'm kind of letting that yellow turn up in various places on the page, and I'm trying not to do the same colour next to another colour. I'm trying to give it some space, which is going to help the whole composition further down the track. Cleaning off that yellow, ready to change colours again. Now I'm coming in with this pinky colour for the hearts. This is Watermelon Wonder, or I think there's another colour which is very similar called Calypso Coral. I think the Watermelon Wonder might have been an old colour that they don't have anymore. I'm not quite sure. It might have been retired, but there's some other colours in there now that are very similar to this. And I really like how this is coming along. I feel, yep, it's really coming together. And I'm really happy with it. I'm just loving how it's looking. It's really much more vibrant than the original piece because it's smaller, so I guess the colours are a little bit more concentrated just because it's a smaller piece. But I love it. It's so cool. The whole technique is a really good one, and I think I'm going to do more of these because it's fun. I like it. Okay, so now bringing in that, more coffee. The green colour, which is Emerald Envy. Love that. That's a really pretty green. And then just pulling that into the background. This is quite a large stretch of background for the green, so I might add a little bit of a there we go. Yeah, I'll just put a piece in there so I don't have to have that on the entire section of background. I can bring another colour in further down. And it's just fun kind of figure out, okay, did I use that green on that flower, or do I need to move it across over here, or do I have something the same colour next to it? So it keeps your brain active. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. And so just have fun with it. So these markers, which are called the Stampin' Up markers, come in a whole set of colours, and you can buy them from my online store if you live in Australia, aussiestampers.stampinup.net, and you can also buy the aqua brushes from me if you live in Australia. I sell them in my online store as well, so if you want to get started on this, they're your two main ingredients for getting this kind of journaling done: the brush tip markers and the aqua brush. Just coming in now with some final pieces just to make sure I don't have any white spots left on the page. And I'm pulling some of the colour out of the dark purple colours because they were just a little bit too dark for me. I thought, no, they've lost their definition, so I pulled the colour out. Now I'm just taking the marker straight to the picture to draw in some lines, places where I've maybe pulled out too much colour and it's now gone a bit paler, and I'm fixing up this mess. I actually splodged all over the place here, so you can see I'm adding water, then using a clean spot of the paper towel each time to pull it out. So I've cleaned up that mess pretty much. Now I'm going to redefine some of the colour just with full strength markers, bringing it in. Oh look, that's great. I'm really happy. That's solved that whole problem. And I think I just might sort of do some little dots or something on some of these, and this is where you can have some fun and just start the doodling process all over again. Just as it's drying out and it's finished off, you can start kind of redefining the lines. You can use, I think I used the thin tip marker for this one. And yep, that's great. Really love this. And it makes me happy. Now I'm bringing in that Copic multiliner in 0.25, and I'm just going to draw over those pencil lines that I put in. I don't want them to look as though they're pencil lines that I've left behind. I actually want them to be part of the design so that you can see how organically this has grown into a full composition. And you can sort of add some little dots and extra double lines or whatever else you want to do here. Just play, just have fun, just enjoy it. And I did miss a little spot there, so I brought my aqua brush in and just that tiny little area that I didn't see. So there's the comparison between the two. I love doing this project, and I hope you enjoyed watching along with me. Have a go and be happy. I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.